Today, I'm going to explain a revelation of thought, Reality Explained. This book goes over a complex topic of reality and bases the story onto one person to focus on self awareness, which creates the confusion in the story. The author talks about mental evolution and ascending to higher knowledge and how special the achievement is. The author talks about someone living in a fake reality has to be self aware and live off of natural impulses. The book tries to explain how someone can live externally, which is living only in the physical world using laws of physical nature. The author also talks about communication like telepathy and physical communication. From what I read, the only people that can naturally relate to the story are people that descend into sin and are trying to ascend to higher knowledge. The proper way to look at this story is from the perspective of Adam and Eve and Shiva and Shakti trying to ascend. The only way Adam and Eve can ascend is by being separated while dealing with the magic of the world and focusing on self-awareness and natural impulses. In this video, I will quote parts of the story and explain the quote so we can get rid of the confusion by explaining the story with spiritual text of the world. At the end of the video, I will give my opinion of the book. Quote, let us analyze the two commonly discussed extremes, telepathy and direct interaction. For Adam and Eve to communicate, they will use telepathy to talk in the spirit. But the author is saying physical communication is better because you will have a lot to remember the person from, like presence, touch, and sight. Quote, while complete fusion of entities may not be necessary, physical interaction remains a plausible and logical means of engaging with external phenomena. The author is saying Adam and Eve don't need to meet, they need to work on a spiritual bond, but the physical world is a better way to communicate. Quote, however, within a logical and self-consistent system, experiencing a transformation must emerge from interactions permitted by the internal rules of the system. The author is saying if we have a functional society, transformation is only viable when you emerge from the society with good conscience. Quote, thus, anything we call magic may simply be an unexplored consequence of self-modification over time rather than a violation of natural law. The author is saying the magic we face today are things we discovered in the past, like not being loyal, cheating, a liar, and not pure, basically breaking the 10 Commandments. Quote, so what do I believe we are? I posit that we are a closed system of mass capable of altering our self-perception without serving our internal coherence. If this were not the case, we would not be isolated beings forever incapable of experiencing novelty. The author is saying Adam and Eve can alter their minds and break up and not follow the word of God and live a life of their own and take that life as a novelty. Quote, what does long live really mean? Long live is not merely about survival. It can include improvement, decay, complexity, simplicity, any attribute that extends continually or reoccurrence. If any of our system favors long-lived outcomes, we might naturally seek simulations, abstractions, or transformations that prolong our experience. The writer knows about the reincarnation system and how ascension can affect your next life. My conclusion of this story is that something negative inspired this story. This story leans more on sin and separation of Adam and Eve by mentioning even though telepathy is good, but the physical touch is better. The writer is trying to manipulate the thought of free will by calling it a novelty of time and making the reader feel good about sin. If anything, this book will be the reason why a twin flame will break up and find a soulmate and go on a path of self-awareness. That's my thought on this book. Feel free to say something in the comments below. Thank you. Have a good day.